So why am I opening this video with these sunglasses on? I want to talk to you today about Venus flytraps. Now, if you've grown Venus flytraps for any length of time and watched any videos of mine or other growers, you'll hear that they need tons and tons of light. Tons of light, specifically sunlight, comes with a problem. A good thing and sometimes a bad thing, and that is temperature. But what is the upper limit, temperature-wise, for Venus flytraps? And how can you tell if your plants are at that upper limit? We're going to talk about all this and more in just a moment. First and foremost, when we discuss Venus flytraps, we always talk about the light that they need. And we always tell you more is better. But we have to change the narrative. And while light is very important, temperature also plays a key in the level of healthy growth your plants will achieve. Before we get into what is the right temperature and what is the wrong temperature, let's talk about why this matters for a sun-loving plant like a Venus flytrap. So we first need to understand what temperatures, what environment do Venus flytraps want, and how do they grow in the wild. If you've watched my videos, you'll know that I highly recommend and very strongly push that you understand the environment your plants grow in, so that way you can emulate them in their growing conditions for you. Venus flytraps grow naturally in one area in the world, and that is on the border of North and South Carolina near the coast. These pine barrens and where they grow, it can get a little breezy and certainly hot. And so these plants want a temperature range between 68 degrees to 95 to feel right at home. Now, they can absolutely handle temperatures significantly colder than that and significantly hotter than that. But the cold comes with dormancy, and the heat comes with another problem, and that is what we are going to talk about now. There is nothing that brings about more angst to a new grower of Venus flytraps than how their traps are looking. The traps require a lot of energy, and because of that, they're the first thing that a plant will kill off. Now, some of this is natural through a leaf rotation process that it's called leaf turnover rate, but also this is what the plant does in its natural defense to let you know when it's stressed. It wants to get rid of that energy sort of sucking part of the plant, which is the traps. And so those black traps can take on many different reasons. I'm going to show you what to look for so that you know specifically when it's a temperature issue. What you have in front of you is a Venus flytrap cultivar known as a super vigorous. And right now it doesn't look too vigorous, does it? You notice a lot of the traps are dry and crispy looking, and then the tips on the newer traps are dying. Now, if you are new to growing plants, this might freak you out. You might think there's some root rot going on, some crown rot, maybe a pest, but this is a clear and classic sign of heat stress for these plants. While they love a lot of sun, what they can't handle is a lot of sun with heat without the other element being water. And so if you live in an area like I do here in Florida, where we can go through large swaths of time without any rain, even when your bottom of your trays are full of water, they will in fact start to get a little bit angry with you being out in the sun. The early part of spring for Florida is unfortunately becoming more and more of a drought season for us. And so these plants went through about 2 months of very, very little rain. And add to that temperatures that were hitting at the lowest 95 degrees and at the highest close to and touching 100 degrees. Now, as you can tell, the plants will continue to grow and they will survive it, but they are going to show you that they are grumpy and not happy. So let's take another look at some other examples of this. Now, Venus flytraps, there's only one type that grows in the world, and I told you where that one grows. The others are known as cultivars, or cultivated variances. These cultivars come with all kinds of different cool little nuances to them. Some have larger traps, some have smaller ones. And what you'll find is the larger trapped cultivars tend to be more susceptible to that heat. Here's King Henry. And if you'll notice something about King Henry, this is showing you the next step in the stress of the plant due to heat. Here, we're seeing large amounts of the petiole being crisped up, if you will. And so that is a clear sign of heat stress, but it goes even further. Here, you'll notice that the larger spring traps have been burned off essentially. And now we have all these little cluster of traps growing in. Now, again, you might freak out thinking, oh no, that's a sign of aphids or thrip, which it can be on other plants. But what I would look for first is your heat, especially if you live in a hotter environment like I do. Now, it's important to note that you'll notice these typicals don't necessarily have that problem. There's some here and there that are burning, but for the most part, they're doing okay. And while I don't know this for a fact, and maybe they've done some research on there, my hunch is because they have smaller surface area and less leaf area to keep cool, they're not as susceptible to burn. Here's another large cultivar named Wally, and you'll see that its leaves are nice and crispy, but the typicals next to them are just fine. So now that I've shown you what it looks like, what does that mean for your plant? Is it going to die? Is it completely stressed? Is all hope lost? Should you bring it inside? What does that mean for your plant, and what should you do? Well, let's talk about that. First and foremost, let's call it for what it is. It is a stressor for your plant for it to overheat and get burnt like this. It isn't, however, a death sentence. So even for the smaller ones, like these little pullings that I made, you can see that the plant looks like it's all but dead, but there's new growth coming back. Now that the rainy season is here in Florida, these plants will return to their full glory and do just fine. Now, I would be remiss to tell you that, oh, this is just part of it, you know, blah, 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 blah. This is a stress response. And with all stress responses, you will weaken the plant. But as long as your plant is healthy, it is not a death sentence. The things that you can do to help prevent this are ensure that you are keeping your pots well hydrated. Larger pots will help. Notice how these are all in very small pots. The smaller the pot, the less ability the media is to control the temperature of the roots, and so this is going to cause more of a stressor. So you can always pot them in larger pots and they will do fine. You'll notice with some of these over here, some are stressed, but for the most part they are all doing better here in these larger pots. You can bring them inside, however this isn't necessary unless you are wanting to. Overall, they will do fine as long as the rainy season returns. Just keep an eye on them. If you're hitting triple digits days on end without any rain in sight, you want to make sure to not only keep water in their trays, but also make sure that you get some top water going to help cool down the media. If we were to round this video up and summarize it, it would be this. Even the most sun-loving of plants can get a little too much of the good stuff. And sometimes, more often than not, if you go through large swaths of time where it's very, very hot with little precipitation, you're going to deal with these black, crispy traps. Understand that that is part of it. It's part of the growing habit of the plant. And as long as you continue to keep it watered, when the rainy season comes, the plant will be fine. Now, if you have a weakened plant and you're starting to notice that it further weakens due to this, keep an eye on it. It should be fine as long, again, as the media stays moist. But if you do feel so inclined, you can move it to more dappled shade where it will do much better. To add to this, if you grow your plants in a greenhouse, this is something you need to be paying very close attention to, especially if you don't have the right air circulation in your greenhouse, as temperatures can soar very quickly and be very bad for your plants. But remember the 4 things that I told you about any carnivorous plant: inert water, inert soil, sunlight, and airflow. All these 4 things, if worked in harmony, your plant will do well. Some will be higher, some will be lower. The plant might act a little bit funny with you at times, but overall the plant will be fine. I hope this video has helped, and I hope that it's brought you some joy and some clarity, and I hope that you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.